Hello everybody, my name is Abhishek Sharma and today we are discussing question and answers for GPAT 2018 paper. This is the part 1 for this. Like today we will discuss some questions, their answers and their certain options. We try to learn as much as we should. The first question is a technique of using very small metal particles coated with desired DNA in the gene transfer is called. So it's a gene delivery system. So look all the 4 options carefully. First is microinjection. Second one is biolystic. Third one liposome. Fourth one electroporation. So correct answer is biolystic. So we will discuss biolystic later, but we should know the answers and what are the meaning of other 3 options. So microinjections, like it is clear micro then injection. So it is saying like we are injecting something in presence of microscope. So microinjections are glass micropipettes which are used as an injection for liquid substances and we need to see through microscopic level and the target is often living cells and sometimes it's intracellular space. The third option is liposomes. So in pharmaceutics, probably you guys have learned about liposomes in novel drug delivery system. And liposomes are spherical vesicles having at least one layer of lipid, one bar layer of lipid. It may be more than one. These are used as a vehicle for administration of nutrients or pharmaceutical drugs. It improved the solubility of lipophilic and amphiphilic drugs. Sometimes liposomes are also used as a passive target for immune system, like drugs are loaded into these liposomes and these are engulfed by macrophages to get certain times, and these are very useful especially for in infections, because macrophages also act as a soldier for the immunity. And fourth option is electroporation. So now it is also clear. Electro means certain kind of voltage and poration means some kind of permeability. So electroporation or electropermeabilization is a microbiological technique in which we apply electric field on the cells to increase their permeability, which will allow certain chemical, drugs or DNA to be introduced into the cell. Now, biolistics. So biolistics are also called as a gene drugs. They are used to deliver exogenous DNAs or the transgenes to the cell. It payloads is an elemental particle of a heavy metal, generally gold particles coated with DNA, and it can transform any kind of DNA to any type of cell. It may be plant cell, it can be microbe, it can be human cell, or it is not limited just cell. It can be transformed the nucleus, organelles and plastids. Now if we want to look very briefly what are the biolistics. So biolistics should have DNA because it's gene delivery. So these DNAs are coated on gold into the tubing. Then these tubes were rotated to coat the DNA on the surface or sometimes inside inside surface. Then we cut these tubings and load it through this gene gun. These are like bullets for the DNA, and then the biolistics delivered to the cell, nucleus or plastid. If anybody is interested and want to know much more about biolistics or want to do his or her future research in pharmaceutics using this very eminent therapeutic dosage form, then they can read this book from Stephen Sadovy, which is very specific for biolistic DNA delivery. Second question related to biotechnology, like biosynthesis of recombinant insulins. So they are asking what should be the steps or the sequences in order to produce the recombinant insulin. So there are four options. In first option, they are saying fusion of A and B chain with disulfide bond. I think it should be the last option. I think so. We will discuss later, because at last we will have a chain and B chain, and we will have a disulfide bond to make it insulin. Second is cyanogen bromide treatment to remove methionine and beta galactosidase. And C is introduction of A and B chain in plasmid containing beta galactosidase gene. Third one is synthesis of A and B chain in E. coli. So if we will look like if we want to use our common sense, so it is clearly saying first we will introduce, then it gets synthesized in E. coli, then we will break the galactosidase bond, and finally we have to connect both. So correct answer is C, then D, then B, then A. Let's see the correct way. So this is the biosynthetic pathway or the manufacturing process of recombinant DNA. So first we introduce A and B chain into the plasmid containing beta galactosidase gene. Then these plasmids containing genes transfer to the E. coli to get synthesis and grow much more. When these microbes grow, we separate these, we purify these fused insulin, and because these are connected with glycoside, so we need to break, and we can break these with cyanogen bromide treatment, which will remove methionine and beta glycosidase. And finally we will fuse both A and B chain, and we will get the recombinant insulin for our diabetic patients. Third question, motif is represented by. So first of all, think where is the motif. So I think it should be in crystallography, the physical pharmacy, and it is asking commas repeated in the lattice, 3D translational periodic arrangement of points, geometric shape of the lattice, center of symmetry in the lattice. The correct answer is comma repeated by lattice. Cool. Now look, this is the crystal structure. So crystal structure is a sequential 3D structure of motifs, and these motifs came from these commas, or the commas, crystal lattice followed by motif. So motif are the physical object or the object repeated at each point of a lattice, usually atoms or molecules, while lattice is regular spacing of arrangement of geometric points, often decorated with motifs. Like it will go there, it will, like these will go there and make the crystal structure. So always remember the thing, what is lattice, what is motif, and what is commas to get a crystal structure. Fourth question now, again physical pharmacy, Martin. So there are two statements, and they want to know like both are true, both are false, which one is true and which one is false. So this statement is saying, first statement is saying vortex formation can be minimized by push-pull mechanism. I think it should be right. Second, vortex formation reduces the mixing intensity by increasing the velocity of impeller. No, this is wrong. I think so. So correct answer is first statement is true, second option is false. So let's look how is it true and how is it false. So first of all, what is vortex? So when we move anything, it makes a circulatory pattern, which is called vortex, and it can be formed by if we place a shaft in the center, the blade of turbines are perpendicular to the exactly perpendicular to the central shaft. We are using unbaffled tanks, or we have increased the impeller speed. That's why this is the correct answer we found in that question. Second way, just for increasing our knowledge, how can we prevent this vortex information? Make sure these informations are very important when we want to have our career in manufacturing. So liquid oral dosage forms, cosmetics, all these things require the information. How will you troubleshoot, or how will you design your instruments, or how, like generally in pharmaceutical companies we don't design what we purchase. So whenever we want to purchase any instrument, or the big like gallons of these tanks, the tanks have capacity for gallons of liquid, so we have to make sure like these designs are perfect. So we can prevent these vortex formation by avoiding the symmetry. Like if we put our impellers in off central, or we can incline those, or we can put those side entering, and if we put those very deep into the liquid, then we will certainly have less vortex formation. Second one, we can baffleize these containers. That would also helpful. And third one, which is the answer, which is saying like push-pull mechanism. So what is push-pull mechanism? Push-pull mechanism means we will have more than one impeller into the container. So more than one impellers are mounted on the same shaft where greater depth is required, and the bottom impeller is placed about one impeller diameter above the bottom of the tank. And why is it? Because this impeller will create a zone of high turbulence and save us from making circulatory pattern, and would be very useful for making these syrups and suspension formulations. Now, fifth question, again same book. Which of the following fluid can be considered as an ideal fluid? So there are answers are viscous fluid, non-viscous fluid, compressible fluid, and all of these. So if you ask me, like if for example I do not know the answer, then I would say like all of these is wrong, because it has both option A and B, and these are vice versa. So only one thing is possible, not the both. So viscous or non-viscous should be the answer. The way to find out, like cut down more options. Now the correct answer is non-viscous fluid. So what are perfect fluid or ideal fluid? So ideal fluid are incompressible, they are laminar, they should be non-viscous, and they should flow in a streamline. And whenever they are flowing, they should not create any heat. That is the ideal thing, which is practically not possible. That's why it's a physics pattern. And apart from these perfect fluid, the real fluid are sticky and containing heat whenever they flow or conduct the heat. Perfect fluids are idealized model in which these possibilities are neglected. Like these are models. Make sure these are models. Are neglected specifically. There should be no shear stresses or viscosity or heat conduction. So there is an example, like we have a container A and container B. So what do you think, which one is ideal fluid? I think container B is ideal, container B containing ideal fluid, because it is flowing more, and container is a viscous, and whenever it will flow, it will also create some heat. Now question 6. Which of the following agencies is not classified as an executive agency for administration of the Act under the provision of Drug and Cosmetic Act? So first look at the word executive agency. So what is the meaning of executive agencies? So executive agencies are law and enforcement agencies. Like if I want to do anything related to Drug and Cosmetic Act, I have to go with these authorities. So first answer is licensing authority. Obviously, I need a license. As a pharmacist license, a drug license, new drug approval, or anything, I have to go for licensing authority. Drug inspectors, yes, they are the law and enforcement person who are responsible for responsible to make sure that Drug and Cosmetic Act is implemented perfectly in their boundaries. Third one, Drug Consultative Committee. I don't think they have any authority, so this should be the answer. And fourth one are the custom collectors. Yes, they are required whenever we import any drug or medicines, custom collectors are involved in those imports. The correct answer is drug consultative committees. So what are drug consultative committees according to the Drug and Cosmetic Act? So drug consultative committees are advisory committees to the central government or the state government or the drug technical advisory board. And these committees should have two representatives from central government. Both are nominated, and one should from each state, and all these members are also state nominated. Seventh question, again jurisprudence. As per Factories Act 1948 in chapter 6 dealing with working hours of adult, like they're asking what is the maximum working hours are allowed for an adult worker. So correct answer is 48 hours. Like any factory cannot ask its worker to work more than 48 hours. Just look at the Factories Act 1948. So it's clear-cut written, no adult worker shall be required or allowed to work in a factory for more than 48 hours in a week. Always remember, it may be useful when you will go to a pharmaceutical company and they ask you to work more than that. Then you can complain the law and enforcement agency, or you can help your family, your neighbor by knowing this law. Now, eighth question, is it related to pharma management? Yes, it's Henry Fayol's principle aspirate de corps means. So first of all, Henry Fayol was an engineer who wrote it down like a management principle, like those are used as a gold standard, like old book kind of thing. So he wrote 14 major things which are required, and answer for this particular thing is team spirit. It's a meaning in English, like spirit de corps means team spirit. Everybody has the same goal and they are working in the same direction. So these are the Fayol's 14 principles of management. First, division of work. Everybody should know what they need to do. Authority. There should be persons have power and authority to work, and they ask certain people like you have to do those things. There should be a discipline. There should be unity of command, like one manager, not more than one manager. Otherwise, discrepancy will create. Unity of direction. Everybody is working in same direction in the development of the company. Subordination of individual interest to the general interest. Like everybody has now same thing. Everybody has same goal and same interest. Remuneration. The workers should be paid well. Otherwise, they will think something else. Like they might be using your computer to applying for the job. So make sure you are paying your employees very well, or your subordinates. There should be a centralization of the power. There should be a scalar chain and orders, and should be equity, stability of tenure of personnel. Now the same thing, if you are paying well but there is no job security, then again same thing will happen. Initiatives should be respected, and 14th is esprit de corps, which means contribution to the development of the culture and creates an atmosphere for mutual trust and understanding. That is also called as team spirit. Now question 9. Question 9 is how customers' bias about the product will influence the marketing communication. Now if you will think like consumer is biased. So I think consumer may be biased in both ways. Like they can like our product or they can like our competitor's product. So answer should be both positive and negative. So common spirit existing in the member is always in. So there are two possibilities. Either they like us or they don't like us. In that case, they will buy the product and services which they are familiar. They will trust any piece of information that seems to support their choice, and people tend to forget any information that strongly oppose their viewpoint. So that's why a marketing person may have both things like the same. Now, question number 10. Which of the following is not patentable in India as per Patent Act 1970? So remember, they are asking about 1970. So I think new use of existing drug cannot be patentable. For more information, this thing I took from Patent Act Amendment 2005, where it said like anything which is but obvious established from the natural law is non-patentable. Anything which can harm human, animal, or plant life or health cannot be patentable. Any mere discovery cannot be patentable. A new form like we made a certain salts, we made ester, ether, polymorphs, metabolites, we purified it, we changed particle size to have better dissolution, we look like a particular isomer like dextro or levo is 20 times more potent than levo, then we want to more apply for the patent, is non-patentable. And mere admixtures are also non-patentable, like we know drug X and drug Y, and if we add those, it will be better, but all these things are non-patentable. And if we change like some very little changes or certain arrangement changes and we want to patent it, no, those devices are non-patentable. Any method of agriculture or horticulture is non-patentable, just to save our farmers. And anything whatsoever doctors and surgeons are doing, like they developed a new method, new technique to do a heart surgery, that is also non-patentable in India. Any plant or human whole or any part thereof other than microorganism is non-patentable. Any software, music, art, movies are non-patentable. For softwares and arts, we have to go for copyright. They are protected under Copyright Act, not the Patent Act. Any way of playing, any mental act is non-patentable. Integrated ICB boards, integrated services are non-patentable. Any presentation or information is non-patentable. Anything is written in traditional knowledge, like somebody my parents told to me, and then I want to make it patent. Anything is written in Ayurveda or Siddha or Unani medicines are also non-patentable. Apart from it, all atomic energy products and anything which can affect national securities are also non-patentable. So this is the part 1 of GPAT 2018 question and answer session. So if you have any specific question, please write down it on in comment box. You can also email us, and all suggestions will be addressed, and we will try to make it more useful for pharmacy people. So be a passionate pharmacist. Thank you very much for seeing this video. Bye bye.